Starting a new audio because I filled up the description below the audio video with X post links. That's what I do on all my audio videos, put my X post links in there. So if someone doesn't have an X count, they can just click on the links in the YouTube descriptions. I noticed a grass cutting, weed cutting type knife you would find in like Guatemala or the jungles of Central America, I think, in my van above the headliner. Yesterday I saw it was there, and I've been putting my frozen sandwiches up there to thaw because it's at the top of the van, so it's warmer up there. And I get frozen sandwiches, and then I'll put them up there until they're thawed, and then I'll eat them because I don't have a microwave access right now because I've been living in my van pretty much. And I noticed it was there yesterday on the 24th, and I believe that they put it in there on the 22nd during my doctor's appointment because I came out of the doctor's appointment, everybody was laughing and having a good time, and then there was a bunch of criminals in Oelwein at the time right afterwards. So I believe that's when they did it because I don't think they had access to my van since. I think I've kept them out since that time. So I believe that's probably when they put it in there. It was in a sheath, but it looked like it was the size of like one of those things that you hack through the jungles of Central America with. So I threw it out last night. I didn't want it in my van. I didn't know what their plans were with it. So I got rid of it. There's a headliner in my van, and it only goes back as far as the seats do, and then the rest of it's like a cargo van. So that's why it has that. That's why there's a gap there. So again, I don't know what their plans were with it, but I didn't want it in my van. So I got rid of it last night. Otherwise, I was here all night alone, as always, in my van, west of the buildings most of the night, and then I moved to under the maple tree approximately 3 a.m. and then slept from approximately 5 a.m. to about 11:45 a.m., I believe, and woke up and fed the cats. I'm still here, half mile north of Fairbank, Iowa on V68 in my van all night, as I said, on all morning. I've been sleeping, as I told my mother many times now at the Red and White Barn Home, I sleep in the mornings, or when it starts to get light, usually that's when I'll go to sleep because I don't want to be asleep when the people break into my van while I'm sleeping. It's a feeling of security thing mostly. I know it's probably not any more secure because they've gotten in while it's daylight too, but it feels more secure that they don't have the cover of night, and I think they don't get as much accomplished in the daytime when they break in, and I don't think they break in as often when it's in the daytime. So when I'm asleep. So that's why I sleep. It's very much a PTSD related issue that I sleep not until it becomes daylight. I don't know what else I got yesterday. Like I told my parents yesterday, my brain, I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I haven't been getting good sleep. So my brain is like, there's nothing going on. Like usually like my entire life, there's thoughts cycling through my head constantly, ways to innovate or, what frauds are doing. But like there was just nothing because just what haven't been getting good sleep. I think I got pretty good sleep last night or this morning, rather, 5 a.m. to about 11:45 a.m. But so that's what, 6 plus hours. That's about right for me to get a good night's sleep, 6 to 7 hours. And then, I can get by on 3 hours of sleep for 2-3 nights, and then I need a night of 6 to 7 hours and then in the weekend a night of 8 or 9 to just catch up. But yeah, I'm not someone that gets by on 3 hours of sleep every night. My mother used to do that when I was a kid, and everybody's body's different in that way, but I'm not someone that gets by on 3 hours of sleep for ongoing. So don't know what else to say. 10.7-inch hands, green eyes, not blue. 6'1". That's the truth. 73 inches. There is no I'm not getting my height wrong, as was indicated. 52 years old, born 11/4/71, circumcised 1971, no changes, still circumcised, still 2 testicles, male testicles, still my natural penis, and it gets 8 to 9 inches when it's erect. I don't have erectile dysfunction problems. I haven't been with a girlfriend for 9 years, so I asked for a sample of, what the stuff that they use for males when they can't get one. It's not because I can't get one. It's because I haven't been with a woman for 9 years. And if I decide to date someone, or if it comes about, I don't want to have to, disappoint someone because I haven't been with a woman for 9 years. So that's why I asked for that. Apparently people know every little thing that goes on in the physician's appointment, whether it's staged lies or truth like that. They should not. Nobody should know what goes on in your physician's appointment. Nobody else has to deal with that. That's a complete violation of my privacy. But I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm 52 and I haven't been with a woman for 9 years. So I'm only doing it for, confidence of, if I meet a woman, I haven't been with one for 9 years, meet a girlfriend, that I would have that confidence that I wouldn't screw it up because I haven't been with anybody for 9 years. So that's the only reason I asked for it. And, take the big 2 middle fingers if you don't agree with my answer. I don't care. That's the truth. All you people care about is dipshit quipping your way through life on your average IQs anyway. The people that want to keep telling lies about me. Why are you targeting me to tell lies about all the time? Answer that question to everybody. Why are you targeting me constantly for years and years and years and years and years? Answer that question to everyone. I'm broke. I'm on PTSD. I'm on SSI for PTSD the last 2 years. I didn't have any income before that. People have been thieving my intellectual property, my theories, inventions, blogs, poems. I don't know who any of them are. Nobody has told me. In a decent society, somebody would have told me by now who these criminals are trying to thieve my intellectual property. That is my only life savings. I don't have any monetary life savings. I might get a little bit of inheritance from my uncle. I will. It seems that I'm going to get some inheritance, but it's not going to be, something where I can live on the rest of my life. I don't think, unless he had, insurance policies that nobody anticipated, or, annuities that were, in huge amounts that nobody anticipated, or something like that. I never anticipated getting anything from my uncle, which, makes me feel that my uncle was a really good person, that I didn't understand how good of a person he is. And that's what really wakes me up about this situation, is that I didn't expect to get anything, and he's given it to all his nieces and nephews, which he has quite a few, so it's going to be split up quite a few different ways. But I'm not greedy on that. It's just I don't want anybody else to get my inheritance. That is something that he designated to me. I've never gotten any inheritance before, and I've worked for all of my theories, inventions, blogs, poems, my entire life. I've worked, I put in 7 to 8 years of public service work as an inspector for cities, municipalities. in another year as a housing planner. So, I don't feel. I feel that I'm being ripped off in my life because people feel justified in stealing from me. I've never had money. I've never had never had money. I had the most I ever had access to is like $7,000 in 2006 after I sold 2 vehicles. That's the most money I've ever had in my entire life. I'm 52 years old. I have no savings, none. I don't have any savings account. I don't have a 401k that I know of. There might be a residual 401k that I can't find. I tried finding them, long time ago, and I can't find any accounts where there's any money in it. Somebody was indicating that I had a 401k, or some kind of retirement account like that. And I tried finding it, and it took me, half of a day. One time I was searching for that stuff. I couldn't find anything. I called former employers, and they didn't get me to anywhere where there was an account that I still had. So I'm not aware of any residual small amount. That's what it would be, because I wasn't at any job more than 3 years, and the ones that I was at 3 years, I cashed out those after I was done with the job because one, to pay debts the first time, and the second time I didn't have a job because I got forced out of my work when I was in City Dubuque after my sister's suicide. I have already told that situation many times, that I had major depression after my sister's suicide, and then they put me on medication, which made it worse, and then eventually I got pushed out of my job because of it, and so I didn't have any income, and I was, still trying to recover from my sister's death, so I cashed in my retirement then too. And I bought a vehicle, which was a smart move for me at the time because it was a reliable vehicle, and I had my vehicle repossessed, and I got a reliable vehicle, which allowed me to, at least live. But in Northeast Iowa, you kind of have to have a vehicle to get things done on a regular basis. I don't see many other options than that. But again, this will be for audio only for youtube.com/@symbol IAM WADEHEINEMAN. Have a little more energy today than I did yesterday when I recorded my audio because, as I said, I got a little bit better rest. But not done anything wrong. No sexual contact in 6+ years. No sexual or physical contact. I've never had any kind of romantic or sexual thing going on with a male, transgender, or child. Whatever the stage lies, it's publicly humiliating also to be portrayed as transgender or female due to the faulty surveillance system. That owes me $40 million per year, I believe, or $100 million per year, because it's the most psychologically abusive thing you can do is publicly humiliate someone by claiming in public that they're a different sex, and then everybody knows it and is laughing. And when I go out in public, then I don't even want to go out in public anymore. I have to, because that's the only way you can live, and that's what I'm going to have to do. But I shouldn't have to do that. All the psychological damage that has been done to me over the last 10 years as people humiliate me with things like this, or break into my home and stage lies that I'm the bad guy, or put a weed cutting knife from Central America jungles in my van here, while I'm at a doctor's physician's appointment. This is the shit that I've had to deal with for 10 years now. While they try and steal my theories, inventions, blogs, and poems, make me look like the bad guy, while they rip me off for something that I provided to the public. And I wanted, some compensation for it, but I want credit for it, and I don't want the criminals, the frauds, to have credit for my ideas. They're all mine. My poems, my blogs, my inventions. I have 30 years of poems stored in here, and it was indicated they stole one of them, Solidity, but there's 500 more poems they could be stealing and putting out there as their own now if they had access to my poems. They're on digital file. They're printed. Some of them are printed. Some of them are written. So if they had access to those when they stole Solidity, whenever they did that, it's 13 verses. They're like individual haikus almost. And they were in the poems based on Wallace Stevens' 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, which is still one of my favorite poems because it gives you a mind-warping perspective on things, and it's just really cool how he did it. And that's why I modeled mine on that. My professor, Bill Pauley, who I learned a lot from in 2002 from Loras College, he's the one that did that assignment, model one of our poems on someone who we admire and what poem they had that we admire. And that was Wallace Stevens' 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. And I don't have anything significant about 13 or I know there are significant things with the number 13, whether it's, the disciples and Jesus or if it's, other things. But I know there are significant things going on with the number 13. At the time, I was completely oblivious to that. I didn't know 13 had to do with anything. I'm sure Wallace Stevens may have, had something to do with the number 13. I still don't really know what the number 13 is signifying. I did, look at some of that stuff in the early 2010s, but I don't remember some of the stuff I learned with that because it's just the pertinent things to my life in the last 10 years are people sabotaging my life and staging lies and trying to steal my ideas and trying to fight those things. And then they try to, make me look like they even call me the devil when I'm the one telling the truth and everybody surrounding me is staging lies. It's ridiculously funny to me that they call me the devil. But, I'm not perfect. I'm not the angel that they apparently wanted me to be when I was a kid because I'm a person. But then they scrutinize you and put a microscope over your entire life. Oh, more and more so with the technology that they have now. And no, I'm definitely not going to look like an angel, but all the stage lies is 95% of what people are reacting to. It's all stage lies, like them putting a grass cutting knife into my van while I had a physician's appointment. And I even put an extra lock on the outside of my door so they couldn't get in. I don't know how the hell they're getting in. If they already knew, knew what lock I bought. So therefore they knew what keys that they had to, choose from. But it's just disappointing. I have to deal with this in the United States of America, as I told my parents the other day. But signing off again, this will be youtube.com/@symbol IAM WADEHEINEMAN. And I continue to post on x.com/WADES2ND, 30, 40 posts a day, 30, 40 posts and replies a day average. That's been going on for 6 months to a year now on that channel. So more like a year now. So that's where I get the truth out on a daily basis of where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm noticing about the frauds. I don't have a skid loader either. My dad has 2 skid loaders. I was lifting the mower with my dad's skid loader at his place at the Red and White Barn Home the other day. All that equipment is his, including the orange Husqvarna mower that was on this property for a long time. That's my father's mower. I don't own a mower yet. I was looking for one. He said I could, if I got that one running, I could take that one up to the property in Northwest Iowa. That's on his property out by his shed on the Red and White Barn Home. The orange Husqvarna mower that was sitting on this property, that was bought with his money several years ago when he gave me money to get a motor to replace the motor that went bad on his zero-turn John Deere. I found a motor And then I had more money, so I bought that Husqvarna had a 23 horsepower low hour motor on it, to in case the other motor I bought him went bad, then he could just put the low hour 23 horsepower on it. Because I found at that time that, I thought I found a deal on a motor, but then there was like, it cost twice as much to ship it, as I had seen originally. So it was going to cost over $2,000 to get that motor that he gave me money for. So I found him a less expensive, a very inexpensive motor locally, and then I bought that orange Husqvarna in case that motor went bad. Then he had two motors, and then I bought 3 trailers with it, and I was going to try to trade up to a zero-turn mower, but he was getting on me about having one of the trailers that I got from a farmer for $350. It had a all steel deck, and I was trying to hold on to it so I could trade up to a zero-turn, which I know I could have at the time if I just had a little more time, but Dad was putting pressure on me, so I traded it for that Husqvarna 23 horsepower 48-inch cut mower with low hours, because that was worth about $800 at the time. The plastic, some of the plastic's broken and it's faded since, so it's probably worth $500 now. So the value, and I still have those small trailers are still on this property, so those are my dad's too, and so those are probably worth, I don't know, $150 each. I got them for $25 each off Craigslist, so there's $300 of value, and the mower was $800, so there's $1,100, and the motor I bought him to replace the other one was probably worth about $400, so $1,500 worth of stuff for $1,200, and I could have gotten a zero-turn mower for that trailer, so I would have come out way ahead, had my dad not put pressure on me to get rid of that steel deck trailer that I bought from a farmer up by Maynard, Westgate area, off Craigslist. Most of the used stuff I get is off Craigslist, because you can find pretty good deals on there sometimes if you're looking for certain things. So I was just trying to get my dad a value when I figured out that the brand new motor that I saw online, it was a Vanguard. It was for $1,200, but the shipping was deceptive on the site, and it would end up being over $2,000. I had $1,200, so I got my dad a motor that lasted for 5 years on his mower, and now he has another one on the Husqvarna that if he wanted to put that on his John Deere zero-turn, he could, and it's got low hours, so that would last another 5 to 10 years probably. So I was looking to get value a few years ago when my dad gave me money, and it's still here. The 2 little trailers and the Husqvarna mower are still there, and he got 5 years use out of the motor that I bought him. So he probably would have gotten 10 years use out of a brand new one, but he came out ahead this way because he only spent $1,200, and most of that value is still here. With that mower is $500 and the trailers about $300, so he's only out $400 for 5 years of a motor, and that's the way I look at value. And if I could have gotten the brand new motor at that time for the price that I thought I could, I would have just got that for him. But I found out that it was going to cost way over $2,000, and I had already told him I'd get him a motor, so that's what I did. Signing off. What time is it? 12. Now my screen is 1 p.m. August 25th, 2024.